Speaking of more history, Max Muncy. No, we talked about it the other day that he tied the home run record. He now has the most career home runs at Dodger Stadium at 131. Passes Eric Karros for most all time. I'll bring it up again. I know we talked about it just a couple shows ago, but where does this put him in Dodger lore? Is there a spot for Max Muncy?
I mean, there's going to have to be, and we talked about it last time. The rings, the appearances. He's been there a long time. He's piling up stats. He's been there since 2018. So he's made what, 4 World Series appearances with them? 5?
7. You said since when? 2000.
2018.
All right, so he missed the 17. So
He's
he
there at
went
18.
he went 18, 20, and then all the other ones.
So yeah, so 4. So 4 World Series appearances, 3 wins. He's up. He's now on the home run leaderboard in a couple different varieties. I mean, the rest of the stat line is kind of meh, but he certainly has provided a spark, and also he's got some big postseason moments for them too. So I think he's one of those guys that is he going to be on any sort of like top list? Probably not, but he's going to be a guy that everybody remembers.
Yeah,
because of the impact that he had. And yeah, he's going to be on. He's hit a bunch of home runs. He's had some postseason moments, but I think for him, it's not going to be the stat line. It's going to be the wins. It's going to be the run they've been on.
yeah. Ryan, this is a fair question. How is it these two guys with all the names the Dodgers have had? It's kind of wild. I mean, yeah, but you look at the Dodgers like all-time greats, none of them are like, I would say, prolific power hitters. But it also shows how hard it is. I mean, Dodger Stadium's a big stadium. Like, you got to get into one to get it out of there. So
yeah, that's a brutal ballpark.
Yeah, for power numbers. I mean, Shohei could easily pass this here at some point, but yeah, I mean, you just look at the all-time Dodger list, and the ones that were power hitters played in Brooklyn,
Yep.
some of their time. So this is just Dodger Stadium's home runs, but hard to believe Muncy has more Dodger Stadium homers than Garvey, Say, and Guerrero, etc. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I still don't picture those guys as prolific power hitters, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong for seeing it that way, but
no, I think when I think of the Dodgers, like I don't think of power hitters. I think of guys who were, higher average, higher contact guys. Lots of guys that made careers out of just hitting doubles in the gap and running. A lot of and a ton of pitching. I mean, the Dodgers history is full of pitchers.
Yeah. Curtis says on my updated all-time Dodger team, Max is on the team on the bench. Ron Say is starting at third base, and that's fair.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Max is a guy who's had a really good career who will be remembered, but statistically he's not gonna jump on any of your all-time lists of Dodgers, but he's a guy that everybody's gonna remember.
Yeah. Greg says, I'm sticking with my take that anyone else from this era is going to be a teammate of Ohtani first before anything. And that's a fair point. Silix, all the Dodgers all-time greats are their pitchers. And you're not wrong. Koufax, Drysdale, Newcombe, Kershaw, right? I mean, you're not wrong. He's a Hall of Famer in my book for telling Bumgarner to get the ball out of the cove. Yes, Ryan.
That's still a classic moment.
So good. Ivan says, because of the postseason heroics, you could squeeze him in the top 10 of all time. The greatest Dodger players of all time, Jackie Robinson and a bunch of pitchers, even their managers have greater legacies. And that's also another fair point.
Well, and I think, not to sound like kind of dismissive of the Dodgers, but like the Dodgers history isn't spectacular. I mean, it really isn't.
Well, I would say the LA Dodgers history isn't spectacular. Yeah. Brooklyn, I know that I count them as both when we do our trivia, but when we're talking about Duke Snider, Gil Hodges, right? Snider played most of his time in LA in Brooklyn from 47 to 57 before they moved. So and I don't know exactly how long Hodges was there.
Yeah, because you look at the Dodgers, they were
43 to
dominant.
63.
Yeah, late 50s into the mid 50s to mid 60s, they were fantastic. In the 80s, they were really good. And then there's a lot of nothing until you get to 2020. They had like
Yeah,
these 3 waves, but in between, like they're very kind of irrelevant in
right.
baseball during those times. It's a funny history. It's not a great history, but Max Muncy certainly carved out interesting place in it.
Yeah. Highlight says 131 doesn't seem like a lot. Didn't Sean Green have 48 homer season? Yeah, but not all 48 were at Dodger Stadium.
Yes,
That's
probably
the
30 of
difference.
those were on the road.
Right. 25 at Coors Field. He always seemed to tear that place apart. But yeah, and Curtis, I get this, right? But not many of them in Dodgers history, yes. So this is at Dodger Stadium. This isn't necessarily at Ebbets Field or anything like that.
Right.
This is just in Chavez Ravine. That's it. That's what this stat is. Yeah, they have the history, but again, to your point, I think a lot of it was in Brooklyn. The move wasn't necessarily as kind to the Dodgers offensively as they were in Brooklyn. The pitchers came out for sure,
right.
but
And not to pick on Zach Wheat, but Zach Wheat here, Hall of Famer, played for 19 seasons, 18 in Brooklyn, 1 in Philadelphia, 132 career home runs. A guy that was a high average, high contact guy. And when you look across their history, that's what it's full of. It's kind of high average, high contact guys. Not a lot of guys hit for a lot of power.
And I don't even think like the Dodgers hit like all-time hits leader is that much. I think the list is not impressive. Zach Wheat is at the top at 2,800. They don't even have a 3,000 hit guy in their history.
Yeah, they don't have a 400 home run guy in their history.
Right.
They've only got 2 guys to hit 300 or more.
Yeah.
Like it's a like I said, it's just not a super impressive history. I mean, Max Muncy is 9th all time in home runs with 190.
Right.
Matt Kemp is 7th with 203.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gil Hodges has the most home runs in Ebbets Field with 172. So even Brooklyn, not a lot of power. Right.
Right. It's not a, again, like I go back, I'm not being dismissive of the Dodgers, but like the history for the Dodgers isn't like spectacular.
Right. Yeah. Sean Green almost hit 50 twice, but then he hit like 20 or less the other 3 years. He's third on the home run list as a Dodger. Right. And then he went other places. Then Sean Green was gone. So
yeah, Sean Green is 14th all time for the Dodgers with 162, tied with Andre Ethier.
Yeah.
I mean, Raul Mondesi's 12th all time with 163.
Yeah. Highlight says top 5 at Dodger Stadium. Max Muncy 133, Eric Karros 130, Ron Say 123, Steve Garvey. Said it wrong. Steve Gavi 118, and Matt Kemp with 117. Yeah, I mean, so I'm with you. They have an impressive history, but not an impressive history, if that makes any sense at all, right? I think they've had some incredible talent on their teams, but when we're thinking power numbers, when we're thinking all-time hits, they don't really have it. Their history is on the mound.
Yes.
That's it. Their history is on the mound.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. It's been more pitching. Offensively, this is not a team that was ever really that scary.
Yeah. Some great players, some great talent. Not saying that they're slouches, right? But just when you look at the all-time stats that we look at, right? Hits, home runs, RBIs, like they just don't necessarily have the accumulation of them. Pitching stats, that's something else, right? That's a different story. So
yep. Yeah, and a team that's won 27 pennants and they've turned that into 9 World Series. That's a lot of World Series appearances to lose in.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, more small ball, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I agree.
And honestly, like at a stadium like Dodger Stadium, that stadium sets up great for guys that are line drive gap hitters. It's not built for power hitters.
No. Yeah, it's Silik says it's crazy that the Dodgers of all teams weren't known for power, and every other team can name at least one player. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Dodgers suck. Ben's saying now they're good and still suck. But
that's
yeah,
I find it amazing to me the history of the Dodgers. You only have 2 guys to hit 300 or more career home runs. Only 2.
yeah, it's
just
crazy.
just seems crazy to me.
Yep, pretty wild. But congrats to Max Muncy. Really glad to see that it was pretty much just the glasses. Like he hadn't lost it, he just couldn't see anything. Since the glasses, man, he's been pretty solid for the Dodgers and kept them relevant this year, and some big skids that they've had as well. So
Yeah. And what's also cool is Eric Karros was on the call for it too. So Eric
yeah,
Karros got to make the call of Max Muncy passing him.
yeah. Which I'd be like, Joe Davis, just take the mic. I don't
I'm
want him
out.
to pass me. Yeah, but pretty cool.